Hey everyone, this is David Pike, Motor City Mechanic, back with another video. I've got a Jeep Grand Cherokee. I want to show you step by step how to remove the electric fan assembly. It has the 4.0 liter straight six, and the year models is from 1999 all the way up to 2003. Check it out. Now on this 2000 model Jeep Grand Cherokee, it has a 4.0 liter. The 4.0 basically has just an electric fan. Some rare instances, some people have put the hydraulic fan on it as well. This one actually is just fully electric, and that's the one that we're going to be replacing. Now, you've got two ways to do it. You can remove it from up above, as far as the fasteners, or you can remove the fasteners from down below. The only problem with getting them from down below is the clearance for getting to the bolts. The subframe right there comes at to an angle, so the bolts don't have much access. The service manual wants you to remove the upper radiator support so that you can manipulate the radiator so you can get to those fasteners easier. Like I said, if you've got some special tools, mainly short 1/4 inch swivel sockets, not swivel with a socket, but the sockets that are made onto the swivels, 10 millimeter preferably, you can get in there and fight with the bolts to get them off. You trying to use a wrench is going to be kind of hard because some of these bolts are kind of locked down, they're kind of tight, you don't have a lot of room. So you can try from down below, but the easiest route would be from up above. Now you do have to take more loose though, so you're going to weigh your options. Easy as far as accessibility to the bolts means taking more stuff off. Not so easy taking less stuff off. Choice is yours. I'm going to show you how to get it from up above, taking the upper radiator support off. Now this is the lower shroud bolt on the passenger side. If you start paying attention, you'll notice how close it is to the subframe. Like I said, the subframe starts angling itself. Getting up in there is actually a lot more difficult than it looks. You think you've got a lot of room, you really don't. You can try, but like I said, unless you get that short swivel with the 10 millimeter made onto it, you're going to be fighting. So the passenger side doesn't look quite that bad now. The driver's side is even worse. And here's the driver's side. This one's even tighter because you got the gearbox in the way on one spot, you've got transmission lines, you got a radiator hose. Getting up in there is a little bit difficult, and it's actually a tighter clearance up against the frame. So that one's going to be even the worst of both of them as far as the lower shroud bolts to get to. So that's why I'm opting to go up to the top to show it a little bit easier for you, even though you got to take a few more things loose. But you can get it from the bottom if you can access these. So the shroud right here actually has a belt diagram on, has where the has a plastic guide here for the coolant bottle hose that goes on top of the radiator and down along the sides is what holds the electric fan. Now we'd want to be working on this radiator support. Now this radiator support is directly in front of the radiator. It doesn't go over the top like some cars. So we do got some fasteners around the perimeter that we're going to have to take loose. So we'll get started on those so that we can get those off and we can get that radiator moved so that we can get better access to those lower two fasteners on that shroud. I'm going to go ahead and get started on removing these two 10 millimeters on the driver's side. And what I'll do is I'll hop over to the passenger side and get those off as well. Directly above the headlight, we've got a T30, and right over here, we've got a T30. Now this one's part of the front grille assembly. This one's obviously broken when I take it loose. This one right here is still intact. Like this, a T30. Take that one off. Even though this one's broke, I'm going to take it off and sit it to the side so it doesn't get in the way. You'll find things like this on cars that's got some high miles. Now we'll jump over to the passenger side. They're going to be in basically the same locations. Like I said, the two 10s and the two T30 fasteners, and we'll get the ones on the other side as well. Now the hood latch assembly has two 13 millimeter nuts that we've got to get loose. They actually go into the studs that come off of the upper radiator support. And so that's our next move, is to get these taken loose. Backed off. Now you can reach down there once you get them started. You can get down in here with your hands and you can work on getting them loose yourself. So I want to go ahead and get those all the way off. Once I do, we'll move on to the next step. Alright, so what I can do is I can grab the latch now, pick it up, and reposition it, sit it off to the side. I can actually lift it up if I want and move it. And then we've got 2 braces down here that we can actually tweak so that they clear the studs. We can kind of be moving them as we pick up on the radiator support, and that'll make them clear. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull outward on the grill assembly slightly. You ain't gonna put much pressure because it's gonna help that one mount right here that the T30 went through to clear, as well as one over here. It's gonna help. And as I'm doing, I can start picking up. And when I get to that back side, I can actually push it towards the battery a little bit. Take my time, get it up, and there we go. The upper radiator support's been taken loose. Now we got the upper radiator support out of the way. Now I know I call it upper radiator support. Yes, it doesn't physically come in contact with the radiator, but it does go from side to side. It is a structural support member. I just go by radiator support, so please excuse me if I keep saying it over. Now, we're right at the radiator itself, so now we can get to the fasteners on the side that hold it in place, so then we can move it like we were talking about earlier. Now the air inlet, the plastic tube that goes from here to the lower portion of the air box, we've got to get loosened up and taken off. Now, it's held in place of a plastic Christmas tree right here in this location. Now what I'll use my metal trim tool, and I'll get down here behind it, and I'll pry till I can actually get it up off there. Once I can get it off, I can then maneuver it and get it out of the way. So there we go, we got that loosened up. Now we can lift up and down. Now the plastic elbow that we just took loose, the air inlet, we need to get it unfastened from the lower box. We need to maneuver it till we can lift up. Kind of pull it out of the box at the same time and clear. Now we can set that to the side. Now we got more access. Now the radiator has 2 arms, one on the driver's side and there's one on the passenger side that comes off. Now right here there's a bolt that goes to. That bolt is what holds it in place. Now there's a rubber closeout panel that's kind of hard to see right here that I've got to get down into to gain access to the bolt that's right there. Once I take those bolts loose, one on both sides, I'll be able to get the radiator moved.